we go again. Here we go again. With the NBA not being able to get the hell out of their own way. This should be so simple. The storylines going into the playoffs, they literally write themselves. Nico Harrison was humiliated last night as the Mavs got their ass kicked in Memphis and were eliminated from the playoffs. For months after trading Luka Doncic, all we have heard from Captain Doofus is defense wins championships. Which is true. Defense wins championships. But Nico Harrison forgot the other half of the equation. Offense wins games. In order to get to the NBA Finals to win a championship, you got to win games. Something the Dallas Mavericks have been allergic to doing in the past 2 or 3 months. And to make matters worse, Anthony Davis is hobbling around for half the game last night, barely able to move. It was reminiscent of his time in New Orleans, where Anthony Davis would put up a dominant performance in a blowout loss. Then he's out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Will Ja Morant be able to stay on the court so the Grizzlies can give the Thunder a competitive series? Well, Casey, what do you mean? Ja Morant looked fine last night. He seems to have fully recovered. I'm not talking about his injury. I'm not talking about his boo-boo. I'm talking about the fact that Demetrius continues to think that he's in the WWE where he is playing the role of a fake gangster. Ja Morant should have been suspended when he defied Adam Silver a couple of weeks ago. They warned him. They fined him. They told him, don't put your index fingers in the air and pretend that you are shooting a gun. When you're with your fake gang in the Four Seasons, you can pretend to be a gangster all you want. When you're on an NBA court, leave your water gun at home. Lakers, Wolves, Rockets, Warriors, Clippers, Nuggets, which I think is one of the most intriguing series in the first round. The Clippers have flown under the radar all season. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, they're both motivated to change the narrative about their legacies, their careers. I was telling someone the other day, motivation can get you through a lot of adversity. Do not count out a team that is highly motivated, which is why I think the Warriors and the Clippers are the 2 most dangerous teams in the Western Conference. But the point is, the storylines on the court should be enough. You don't need off-the-court drama. This isn't the WNBA, where the product is so substandard you need manufactured drama to convince people to watch. The matchups should be enough. All of your star players are healthy, which is extremely rare in the NBA, where star players are known to miss games with a boodle contusion. The last thing you want right now, especially with ratings declining during the regular season, again, the last thing you want is one of the faces of your league giving casual fans a reason not to watch. Over the last 4 years, the NBA has tried to distance themselves from deacons at Woke United Methodist. They have tried to eradicate the woke fungus, which damn near destroyed the league back in 2020. But imagine my surprise. Just imagine my surprise when I found out that Steve Kerr, head coach of the Rainbow Warriors, ordered a double dose of supersized wiener right before the playoffs. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Later today on the second channel, going to be talking about NBA ratings for the regular season and the play-in tournament. I'll explain why ratings for the play-in tournament were disappointing. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Throughout the week this week, the Trumper has been at war with woke U campuses across the country. His ongoing battle with Harvard has generated most of the headlines in the media. The same Harvard that had to put students in remedial courses because they were unable to read the course list when selecting their classes. What is introduction to his story? That sounds tough. I think I'm gonna sign up for gender affirming care instead. Maybe Professor Thundercock can help me find my gender. Like most normal people, the Trumper is tired of colleges and universities being indoctrination centers. He's tired of listening to parents complain about their sons coming home from college identifying as their daughters. Average tuition at Harvard is just under $90,000 a year. Now imagine spending over $300,000 on young Tommy's education. And 4 years later, Harvard sends you back an illiterate dumbass who's identifying as mommy. Look at me, Dad, I'm pregnant! Yippee! The Trumper is also punishing Ivy League schools for their inability to handle pro-Palestinian protests. You remember those peaceful demonstration of love last spring? You remember those? Where woke college students were flying rainbow flags while advocating for the destruction of Israel and demanding free wiener from the hot dog stand. Students who were there to actually learn or be indoctrinated, they were displaced for weeks because the universities refused to restore law and order. Let me ask you something. Let's pretend for a second that one of those mythical white nationalist groups, they decided to protest for weeks on Harvard's campus. They refused to let other students go to class. They were taking over administrative buildings. They were demanding that Palestine be, I guess, given back to Israel. Or how about this? Let's pretend that Baptist churches organized demonstrations for Easter. They were marching through Harvard's campus chanting, "He is risen! Jesus died for your sins!" How long would those protests last? How long would woke you tolerate it before they shut them down? My guess is they'd be over before they started. As soon as someone set up a cross in the courtyard, campus police and the WNBA task force, they would infiltrate the dissidents and take them to jail. But when it's pro-Palestinian protesters flying rainbow flags, they're allowed to be disruptive for weeks. Since woke you was unwilling to deal with the problem, the Trumper, he decided to give them some motivation. Now remember, motivation can get you through a lot of adversity. The Trumper provided Harvard with added motivation by freezing over $2 billion of federal funding. Me personally, I think it's outrageous that Harvard receives federal funding to begin with. As of June 2024, the endowment fund at Harvard, it was valued over $50 billion. What do they need our tax money for? Either way, the Trumper freezing federal funding for woke you, it's got Stevie Kerr real mad. The other night, after the Rainbow Warriors played fake gangster Demetrius and the Memphis Grizzlies in the play-in tournament, Stevie spoke to the media. Now, in most cases, when players and coaches are speaking to the media after the game, they're wearing their jerseys or they're wearing shirts that display the team name, or in the case of Derek Carr, they're wearing makeup. Luckily, Stevie was not wearing makeup the other night, but he was wearing an interesting t-shirt. Even though the Rainbow Warriors play in the city of Rainbows, which is 3,000 miles away from the East Coast and has absolutely no association with Cambridge, Massachusetts, Stevie decided to wear a t-shirt that said Harvard basketball. I did not know that Harvard had a basketball team. I wasn't the only one confused. The media was confused as well. Someone from the media asked Steve Kerr why he was wearing a Harvard basketball shirt. Well, Tommy Amaker is a friend of mine. He's the Harvard coach, and we're besties. When we play in Boston, Tommy shares his fruity pebbles with me. We both love to taste the rainbow. Eventually, Stevie got to the real reason that he was supporting Harvard. Watch for yourself.
I believe in academic freedom. I think it's crucial for all of our institutions to be able to handle their own business the way they want to, and they should not be shaken down and told what to teach, what to say by our government. This is me supporting Harvard. Way to go, way to stand up to the bully.
You know, I actually agree with Steve Kerr. I think colleges and universities should have the freedom to encourage freedom of expression, as long as it goes both ways. The problem is, it doesn't. You're only allowed to express one opinion at Harvard. But here's the other problem. When you accept money from someone else, in this case, the federal government, you accept the responsibility that comes with that money. This is no different than Morant and his failure to understand why the NBA doesn't want him pretending to be a gangster. Morant has every right to pretend to be from the streets, but when he accepts $40 million from the Memphis Grizzlies, he's also accepting the responsibility that comes with that money. One of those responsibilities is being a professional and representing the organization. If Harvard wants to embrace the woke wiener, fine. But every decision comes with a price. And this particular decision, it will cost Harvard over $2 billion. It's up to them to decide if it's worth it. For some reason, and lately, this only seems to be a problem in basketball. For some reason, some NBA coaches and players, they believe it's their responsibility to use the NBA platform, a platform that does not belong to them. They believe it's their responsibility to use the NBA platform to spread their personal beliefs. Steve Kerr is one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA, arguably the best coach of this generation. When I'm watching a press conference after a game, I don't give a shit what Steve Kerr thinks about gun control. I don't give a shit if he tastes the rainbow before speaking to the media. The only thing I want to hear from Steve Kerr are his thoughts on the game. Is this really that difficult to understand? How many people were watching the game the other night hoping to hear a lecture from Steve Kerr? How many new fans were attracted to the NBA because Stevie supports Palestine? My guess is none. So what the hell's the point? If anything, Steve Kerr is alienating half the fan base in a league that's lost half its audience in the last 10 years. But give me your thoughts on this. Steve Kerr once again uses the NBA platform to spread his political beliefs. Why does this dude think he's a prophet? Should NBA coaches be allowed to use the NBA platform to spread political propaganda? This doesn't happen with as much consistency as it had in the past, but if it continues, will it have a negative impact on the NBA? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.